Labvakar, Radio Naba eterā. Šodien mums tāds speciāls gadījums, būs studijā īpašs viesis, un mazliet pirms tam maz tāds ievads paskaidrošu, kādā sakarā. Rītā Grīvas mēbelēs liels notikums, es domāju, Latvijas mūzikas dzīvē, vai pie mums uzstāsies grupa Zīs Silvermount Zion, un, es būšu diezgan cinisks, tas tāds, es domāju, nopietns satricinājums Latvijas mūzikai, un mēs pirmo reizi varam varbūt klātienē redzēt kaut ko, kas ir patiešām šobrīd vārda tādā pareizajā semantiskā izpratnē moderns, noteikti neatkarīgajā mūzikā. Un pie mums viesos ir grupas ģitārists un viens no dalībniekiem Efrims Menuks. Hello, Efrim.
Hello.
Very nice to meet you here at our studio.
It's very nice to be here.
Yeah. So maybe we can start our conversation. I just want to ask you, you have a big tour going on. How was the beginning of the tour?
The beginning was good. So far the shows have been good. Except for Sweden, which is a strange place to play, the shows have been really good. So,
is it hard for you to get together? For you have a pretty tight tour. Is it hard for you as a band to get together and to go on tour, or?
I mean,
you have to prepare yourself somehow.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot of time getting ready for sure, but we're used to it by now, so it gets easier all the time.
And you have later on you have like show almost every day. Is it hard to get your inspiration and motivation for every show?
It depends on what the audience is like or what the space is like. Because of the type of music we play, we're lucky. There are nights when, if we're tired, we can still play a good show because we can play quieter stuff or slower stuff. But it all depends on the people who are at the show, If we never play shows, we play really good shows sometimes when the audience hates us. Those are some of the best shows we've ever played. And we play good shows when the audience is at least engaged, like we talk from the stage a lot. We try to talk to people. I mean, if the people at the show are open to that, then it's always a good show. If people are just standing there and staring, then it's usually not a good show.
And how do you prepare for a show? Like, you get some knowledge about the place where you're gonna play, or just whatever place?
No, I mean there's a lot of places that we've played before, so we know the places, but usually you have no idea. You just you arrive and hope for the best,
And maybe you can tell for our audience who doesn't know Silvermount Zion, what can they expect? I mean, like, will it be some slower stuff, like more atmospheric, like from first albums, or more like this folk nasty rock from the last album?
It's more like nasty rock from the last album. I mean, even we're playing a couple of older songs, but nothing from the first album. But even the older songs that for the last few years, it's like we'll take older songs and turn them into louder songs. We did one tour playing songs from the first record and playing very quietly, and it was a very bad experience, So since then we reached this point where we made a decision to be, a louder type of band, mostly because we play mostly in bars, and it's pretty silly to ask people who are drunk to like sit and pay special attention to your special little thing. We felt like idiots doing that, So we're proud of the fact that we're a band now that can play any bar on any night and at least, win over, let's say, a third of the audience on any night, That would be a bad night, so.
Yeah. And you have such a tight schedule, like show every day. It's kind of reminds me of Spartacus, because his tactics was to move fast
right
during the night. Do you have any free time, or?
This tour is actually one of the best we've had. Like, we have mostly, except towards the end, we have a lot of days off. but yeah, usually it's like not many days off, and you just go, 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 go. Like a day off is a day where the drive is short, you know. But I don't know. It's I used to earn a living moving furniture, you know. This is much easier work than moving furniture, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't complain.
I want to. You mentioned your work, previous work. Many young bands have to quit their jobs because of touring. Have you ever been in this situation? I mean, uh, how did you cope with it?
Well, when we started playing music in Godspeed in Montreal, Montreal was a very sort of poor and cheap city to live in. So you could get by with, you know, just part-time jobs. Um, you could afford your rent doing that, and you could eat. You couldn't live a fancy life. But so, you know, and now we tour so often that it's like, and we do pretty good as a band. So it's been a lot of years since I've had to work another job.
And maybe you can tell us something about your latest album. What are the main themes for it, and maybe the concept behind the name?
The record's called 13 Blues for 13 Moons, and there's this, in Chinese astrology, there's this idea that in a year that has 13 full moons in it, that people who are sort of physically ill or mentally ill will have a very terrible year in a year with 13 moons. And so 2006 was a year of 13 moons, and it felt like everybody we knew was either getting sick in the head or getting sick in the body. So that's why the record is called 13 Blues for 13 Moons. And the record is mostly about this idea of people watching the people you love get worn down by life, you know, as we all get older. So it's a love song for those friends, the entire record. Yeah.
But the overall mood is more like you become more like, I could say, there are even some elements, I would say, in some songs almost from sludge rock, or I don't know. The sound is really powerful and dirty, and it is contrasts with your previous work.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I mean, this is the first record that we've made that was all songs that we'd played live before. And in the last few years, this is what we sound like live. Like even the violins are distorted. You know, like it's this. This is what we do now. So.
And how do you see it about music? Do people have to interpret the signs you give them with the music lyrics, or do they? It's important what you meant by this song when you say you speak to audience, and maybe what are your social views on life?
Are you asking what our social views are?
No.
Oh.
I mean, how do you see? Is it you leave music totally to people, or you want them to hear a specific message?
Maybe not a specific message, but like you know, at least a clear idea of what the song isn't about. You know, like we're all very proud people in this band, and through a lot of hard work, we've figured out a way to live with each other and a way to work that we're proud of. And so a lot of what we do is about that, you know. It's just this sort of prideful, like not arrogance, but yeah, like sort of a clear statement of intent, if that makes any sense.
How would you then say about this quote, musicians are cowards?
Yeah, because musicians are cowards.
But you say you can be proud.
Yeah, well, wait, but I'm a coward also, you know. Yeah, musicians are cowards. I've never met a musician who wasn't a coward, deep at heart. But, you know, maybe if I was a baker, I would think that bakers were cowards too. You know,
Yeah.
I think I just know more musicians than any other type of person. You know?
Yeah, Steve Reich once said that the musician should be as a carpenter, like you should make something that's useful for people.
Yeah.
And otherwise, he said it's not big use. Do you feel like doing that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we see music as a social activity that involves, I mean, like, we believe in live music, you know? Like, it's, that's how we earn our living. So it's like we believe, yeah, in this music as a thing that it's a rare thing that people do together in a room, you know? And it creates situations that hint at the possibilities of like a better world, even if it's just for a second or two. And I don't mean that in a hippie way or a super idealistic way, but just that's the feeling that people get when they're together in the same situation, you know. So a good show, whether you're in the audience or in the band, you know, sort of it's like a window opening just a very little bit. So yeah, I mean, again, most of what we do is like about the act of making music, you know, about the idea of being a touring band, like in the old sense of the word.